Hello, everyone. I'm Carlton Hoskins, and as always, welcome to Tax Sale Starters, where we bring you the latest tips and insights and updates and news on tax lien and tax deed investing. Brian's in the house with me, as always. Brian, thanks for joining me. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Carl.
Let's just say, for example, I'm an investor, right? And I have 3 or 4 properties. I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I need to write down the properties I have. Here's the tax ID numbers. Here's the day that I bought it. My immediate response is, here's the redemption period. Okay, I have what I need. Do I? Do I really have enough? Do I know, to your point, what other documents need to be filed? When do they need to be filed? If it's a tax deed, say it's in Georgia, which is a premium bid, what do we call them? Redeemable deeds. So if it's a redeemable deed, there's even more things that need to happen. Before I can foreclose at the 1 year, 1 day, I need to be sending out a notice publicly 30 days prior to that. I need to be reaching out through public notification to say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's going on, giving the homeowner or the property owner time to redeem before that happens. And law dictates all of those things. And so am I understanding, and I'm playing the devil's advocate here. So am I understanding from the audience perspective that servicing and managing tax property portfolios is more than just knowing what I own and when it redeems? There's a lot more intricacies to that process that we may not understand until we get into it. And then when we're into it, we're just kind of like thinking we're going to remember to go check the file later, right? We're not getting the alerts. We're not getting the notifications. Is that what we're dealing with out here, Brian? Is this why the issue is up there?
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. Is and every state's different. That's the hardest part, right? And if you are going to stay local to wherever you're at, you can learn that process and get away with a much more simplified way of managing them. If you're going to be in multiple counties even or multiple states, then it gets harder and harder because each state is slightly different. And some states are easier, meaning you know your redemption period, right? You purchased it at a certain date, it's calculating at a set interest rate. And at the end of that redemption period, if it hasn't redeemed, that's when you worry about it. But there are many states where, like you said, you've got to do notices at very specific stages throughout that redemption period. And the county's not going to remind you have to do this. This is on you to meet the state statutes. And if you don't, then you essentially end up with a lien that you can't enforce. And what I mean by that is you can't proceed with the foreclosure process. You have no way of owning that property. And so unless it redeems, you basically have wasted money, right? Nobody wants to do that. And so it's knowing when you have to do those things throughout the process in every state that becomes very, very difficult. And also, I'll just use New Jersey, for example. There's an interest calculation on the lien, right? And then there's what's called the year-end penalty that some, not all municipalities put in there. You're going to have a premium amount that you paid, and calculating all of that becomes not easy, right? And for the Excel savants, they can probably handle it, but you start doing that in multiple states with all those intricacies. I can tell you, from customer experience, it becomes a nightmare, and that's where having a robust platform to do it for you becomes key.
Absolutely. So in a moment, we'll talk about what tools they could use to do that, right? And I know you kind of already mentioned some of the stuff that you vaguely, what you guys offer at Tax Sale Resources, which I think is the next best thing to sliced bread when it comes to managing, portfolios. Tax Sale Resources is it. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Tax Sale Starters. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button so you can keep up with the latest tips and insights in tax sale and tax lien investing. Also, check out Tax Sale Resources, where you can get the latest insights on upcoming liens and all that great information to help you be a better investor. Until next time, happy investing.